Dun, 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 check this out. I found a place where we can go see a movie for $1.75 per person every Tuesday. I wonder if it's still open. It's an old movie theater is what it looks like. It's at 8300. I don't know what the actual street address is. Across from Guitar Center. No more. I was just saying that it would be really cool to do a music video in a place like that that's abandoned like that. Obviously with permission. Instead of just doing them outside, you do them in a building like that with the stage and the theater and the big screen. I'm excited because I found some new information while I was in the studio working on my 4th album. And I want to show you coming up. I don't think that movie theater is open anymore, but I am over here at Lions Ridge Avenue and Kings Ridge Drive. You see it? And the last time I was in a video was quite a few years ago in this spot. And unfortunately there was some geese that evidently transitioned on. And there was a few of them walking around. I'm pretty much very close at the same spot. I didn't really want to show that on my video, but I did. And this is kind of the location. Look around quick. And I had originally gone into the Golden Corral. I wanted to make a video. And you know what I think's really cool? Is the mean person, not really mean, but mean in a light way, I was carrying my camera with like this. And I went inside because I wanted to share with people one of the environments I thought but wasn't sure that I had the opportunity to share my testimony, which should be the first video way down below on my YouTube message page. That was back in either 2009 or 2010-ish. Believe it or not, I think it was on September the 11th, on a Saturday. I had originally walked inside the door and I had my camera with. And obviously I'm just kind of sharing a blog and I wanted to share the location. I wasn't sure if this was it. And I was hoping to talk to people and ask them some questions to find out if there was the Gospel Businessmen's, I think that's what it was called, meeting that occurred here in 2009, 2010, or if there was a way that I could figure that out. And when I walked in, it's in my video, no sooner did I walk in the door, the front door, it's almost like I was attacked. Do you ever feel that way? Not in a mean way, but yet isn't it mean? We live in a society where we're being watched all the time. Do they know anything about God? Are they familiar? We're being watched all the time. And we're being recorded most likely all the time too. With that being said, it just so happens that I'm a physical human existence and I have a camera in my hand. And no sooner did I get in the door, I got like 5 or 6 footsteps past the main entrance. And what did she say? Hey, you can't be in here with that camera. Is that what she said? Go look it up on my videos. Right down below what it is that she said. How do you feel about that? It's a public facility, right? In the Christian faith, we know that everything belongs to God. So then why are there people on the earth being stubborn when we just want to go in? I'm not pointing it in nobody's face. I'm not being mean. Why do you think that is? What if you were blogging with somebody that maybe it was their last day on earth? What if they were in the hospital right now and this is your communication? And they would say, why are you here? Maybe there's reasons that I don't need to explain. Maybe it's my last day. In my opinion, I've realized in my desire to want to minister to other people that for God, evidently a great investment, especially someone like me. For the average person, in my opinion, is an asshole and usually not a vessel for the love of God. And it feels good to say that because number one, you have to surrender to the truth. Most people are assholes. Say it with me. Most people I meet on a day-to-day basis, especially if it would be a serious matter to myself, they're an asshole to me about it. Don't tell me you're surrounded by the wrong people. That's the way humans are. They're assholes. It's about them, not about anything else outside of that. I'm the one walking around like a fool, trying to share my life story and connect to other people about my heart for God and my desire to minister. Which, by the way, I would love to touch base on that sometime, but not now. Because the feelings are a little bit different. It's more absolute for me. In other words, the way that I would minister falls in alignment with being self-employed. You pay for the people you need, and when you don't need them anymore, you dismiss them. That's the way an employer does it, okay? Have a position, need the willingness of someone to submit. When I don't need them anymore, bye-bye. I'm taking care of you for the rest of your life. And why is that? Because God showed me nobody's going to pick up a log with you. There's money out there. There's a treasure chest filled with it. But they don't want you to know, in order to open the treasure chest, you got to you got to pick up the log together with each other. You got to lift the lid together. You got to say it with me. There's a treasure chest filled with riches, many blessings. And say this with me. The only way that this chest, this size, is going to open up, that lid, is not by one person. Did we see movies like this? That's right. And where were people during the most difficult times that could be the most pleasant and fun times? I used to have people with business cards handing them to me. I fully understand where I can go to pay for people. Okay? Now, being that I was relieved, don't you think I want to look to my left, to my right, and smile and know that these aren't employees to me? Can I have one hug by somebody I didn't have to pay for to be in my life? Look, I might not seem like much. I could have done different. I won't pay people. God didn't pay me. Nobody's paying me. I don't work for money and then go pay a human being. That's why I didn't have a pimp daddy when I was an escort. No matter who you work, no matter what area of life it is, they always want you to believe, in their opinion, you wouldn't amount to anything unless it was them. They're the ones with the connections. They're the ones who know. And I don't care who the recording artist is. I don't care who the band is. If it's not for that band or that recording artist, the decimal point forefront, what goes along with that when that band steps off the stage goes along with it when that band steps off the stage. You can receive other blessings, but you're never going to receive the same blessings. Amen? So, with that being said, I'm sharing my life story about where I thought it began for me in my time of weakness. I no sooner get a few steps in the building. You can't be videotaping in here or recording. You can't use your camera, Really? Now listen, I could have argued, I could have fought. I could have taken her and thrown her in a wall, like I was thrown into a wall when I was an escort. Pretty much so. Pushed into a wall. How's that? Pushed into a wall. As I was sharing that I thought it was here, I wasn't sure. It didn't look the same. I knew that. Nevertheless, I could have treated other people, or her that day, the way that I was treated as I went through life. For being a loving person, knowing that I need to get my needs met somehow. Safely, please. And when she said that, because I try to stay away from grief, I need as less friction as possible, please. Is she working today here? No. And why is that? I'm convinced because God's paying attention to me everywhere I go. The building's closed down now. You're going to tell me, oh, Tracilyn, that place was going out of business long before, yeah? And maybe that reason was good enough to say, it's not a very loving restaurant, close it down. All they wanted to do, I'm talking to the camera, this is my friend. In psychology, unfortunately by a licensed psychology, or I go and plead before the right judge that will listen and put God number one, I can say that this camera is my best friend, and they told me to put my friend away or turn my friend off, and I don't do it. This may be the only friend a person has. That would be a great movie. If there's any Hollywood writers out there who want to write a great movie, do you know a great movie? is somebody that's going through an amazingly difficult time in life, and they aren't really into technology. For many reasons, they want to live a physical life. They want to really have fun. And in this movie, somehow, some way, how does the camera get into their hands? And it's a slow, painful process. And through the movie, you see a healing. And in this healing, what people don't really understand. What kind of problems are occurring? Is it comedy? Is it drama? What is the end result? With this person who becomes best friends, they say, this is my best friend. I don't want to go into the details of it, but my grandmother had said, twins are due in your family, and sometimes when I'm sitting here talking to the camera, I say, there's my twin. In other words, you may find out eventually that a human being is not necessarily the way for another human being to go, but technology. This video will love me every time I say, hey Tracilyn, pay attention to this video. I love you. What? I'm so glad you stayed alive. And I'm so glad you watch me, and I'm so glad that you pay attention to me. I'm always here for you. All you have to do is turn me on and hit play. See, a human being, where are they? You're gonna learn as I wrap things up in this video project that I'm the only one who's here for me, and so's my videos, and so's my music, and so's God. That's not all, that's it, but that's what it is. Human beings, where are they? At the hospital when I need them, at the dentist when I need them, my mechanic, the people you pay, the people you provide insurance to. The sad part of that is there's pastors who teach you different, and that they should be ashamed of themselves. You teach people into God and money because you say they don't need money. Maybe not, but I have learned differently. I would much have rather been happier to somebody, please tell me where my bank account is. I want to live and have fun, okay? I don't want to just sit around and watch TV. I don't want to just, hey, let's get together and let's drink, man. I want to party and have a good time. You know, hey, I got some heroin. Anybody want to share some with me? You know, okay? I know you don't like when I say that, too bad. Hey, let's fire one up. We got a bowl? I got some weed, man. Okay, let's be honest. I smoke weed once in a while, once in a blue moon. Probably I smoked it 3 times, maybe in the last 5 or 6 years. Because I take working on my music very serious, and I take life very serious, and I like to get stoned once in a while. Okay? I'm not saying I'm less than the conversation that I'm sharing. I'm not saying I'm less than or more than. I'm not a hypocrite, but I am filled of life, and God, when we're studying the Bible and studying psychology, shared that with me. The life you desire is in your brain. In my opinion, you got to stop listening to people who are teaching people relationships and people servanthood instead of God. See, chances are you start talking God, you're going to end up in Washington, D.C., eliminating the problems. The people who are enforcing laws. The people who are enforcing laws that are choking life. People who make it very difficult when they're taking tax money. And then they don't want to tell you how to get your needs met in alternative matters. I'd give, you know what? I'd go to the President of the United States and give him my whole check if you teach me how to really live. That makes it legal. Can you give me a legal card that makes me legal? Because I don't feel like I'm a legal citizen in the United States. I feel that everything that I do is illegal. Especially when a cop's watching and saying, what are you doing here? And considering everything belongs to God, I'm disappointed that there's not a heavenly existence in the human race that understands that and guides us into other alternatives of living that are heavenlier. Doesn't mean that do you know that in accordance to Scripture and according to the words of Jesus Christ, which most people teach the way that Jesus lived, but they don't submit to what he said. Everything belongs to God. And everything was given to his one and only Son. They want you to believe that, well, that's not what is meant. Everything here belongs to God. And in my opinion, you got extreme worlds of hell, okay, which is where none of us want to be, and you have the extreme heavenly, which you're not going to enter in there most likely overnight, okay, not unless God grants it. Meanwhile, we're in between, and we're listening to assholes teach us into worse circumstances than we were. I was already self-employed when I started studying the Bible. Do you know that? That started together. Lynn came into my life, I started reading the Bible, and that's the order it happened in, and then I ended up going to LCBC, and then all of this stuff happened. And meanwhile, not one church, not one organization, not one cop, not one politician, nobody, especially without putting me through more hell, extended love without abuse. I think I'm more than a world changer, you know. And I have to say that I don't mean to be mean, because throughout our lives it gives great joy in many ways to see establishments like this. I remember when Golden Corral got started in Lebanon, Pennsylvania, where I lived, the Lebanon Valley Mall. It was a big thing to my sister. She loved all-you-can-eat buffet. It was a big thing to a lot of people I knew in the city. It used to be packed. And even though I'm not the better example, I always wanted to enter into a healthier lifestyle. Don't look to me now. It doesn't mean my desire is not there. It's just that my servanthood might not be acting upon it. Get it? I might not be walking through the entrance to the right facility. So I ended up going a few times, especially in my 20s and stuff, and with kids, and you know, a kid and a child, and somebody that was special to me at the time, and you know, it was okay. You know, it's kind of, maybe not. I don't want to pat them on the back. Some people think that sharing the truth is not the most positive thing a person can do, and I can't stand a pastor who says that. Get your mind out of the sand? No, be truthful. Who doesn't want to be free? The truth is what sets you free, not manipulating your brain to believe in the positive. See, that's how I ended up pretty much splashing in HIV blood in the bathroom of the home I was staying in while trying to be positive and not knowing how to get my own finances. And how do I know that that was the better way? I'm not splashing in blood today at this time anyway. Okay, I lock my door. I always know that I wanted to do what I'm doing every day in my studio with people I love. In some manner, that's not real. God's love is real. And if the evil empire enter into a human being, say goodbye to that human being. They can change like that. And by the way, all my music that I've been working on, especially since 2012, but all my recording, I still have them. They didn't get up and walk out on me. Do you know what God showed me? Save $1. Just save it. That dollar bill will not walk out on you. And in your time of need, God already showed me that. Before I was escorting, or as I was escorting, the one thing that I wanted to always keep was my first dollar I ever made. Ken Syke gave it to me. Actually, I think he gave me $50, and I remembered a conversation with Matt Crater from Crater's Music in Jonestown. He stopped me one time when I turned around and I was ready to walk out after making, I guess I purchased strings or something, and he would give me insight once in a while, because he'd ask me, how are things going for you, you know? Because he was connected to a lot of bands and musicians, guitar players, etc., and he had common knowledge of understanding what it's like to go through things in life, wanting to do something you want to do, the challenges. And with that being said, I don't want to harp on this too long, but he stopped me, he said, hey, let me ask you something. He left me know, I'm not quoting him, but he left me know, if somebody gives you $1, ever, when you're playing guitar or you're playing it for them, basically that was the summary of it, I'm not quoting. He said, then you're a professional, and don't let anyone ever tell you different. When I got paid at the White Swan, Ken Syke, he volunteered. I told him he didn't have to, because at that time I was working, okay? I realized today, if I would ever say that to somebody, thank you for the money, instead of you don't have to, understand that I know what it's like not to have money and be dependent on the human race, okay? And not have your own bank account. Especially when you have life inside of your head and you want to start applying servanthood, and you understand that you need the best of everything for you and for what it is that you're doing. Try to explain that to people and see what the results are. Go get a job. Hey, I seen the minimum wage is starting to go up, or the pay salary is starting to go up. Hey, government, are you getting intelligent-ized? in your brain? If you can't live on a salary, then it shouldn't be minimum wage. It should be proven that a person can live on that salary. Why don't you hire me to do that? I'll prove to you that you can't live on a minimum wage salary. Then we have to keep upping the minimum wage until a person can actually live that way, because people in general have a very challenging time making it in a manner that says, I can actually live a little bit here. Sure, we all want to live. We all want to live, but it just doesn't work that way. It's the world. It's the world's way. It belongs to hell. Why isn't it more heavenly? That world belongs to hell, okay? The dead goose, the geese, the dead ones? Yeah, lifeless. But where there's life, I tell you the truth, there's heavenly existence. Why aren't they acting heavenly? You have the capability of being loving, folks. You could. Well, here you go. When somebody's walking and talking to camera, you can't see inside their brain. Hey lady that was working inside here. Huh? I'm in the parking lot again. You can't see inside my brain. I'm talking to my twin. My camera. We say the exact same thing at the exact same time. Our lips move together. Meet your twin. When she said that, I was on camera. Okay? She has no idea what I've been through in life and what I was going through that day. And the fact that I didn't even want to live in Ohio. The fact that my mind was a little messed up and I wasn't familiar, and I how about this? The person who told me, come out to Ohio and I'll help you, is no longer in my life to say, hey, Daddy, where was that place at? Okay? His exact words were, I'm married now, and what? His wife doesn't want me in his life. Don't you hate people like that? Does he belong to her now? He's a licensed pastor. Can I ask you something? Does that seem biblical? Don't talk to me because another human being says don't? Well, that could mean life or death, don't you think? See, I didn't want to have people like that in my life. I remember when I was dating somebody, the person I told you knocked me down the staircase. Yeah, that person, that girl, that genetic girl that I pinned to the wall, and I knew that I could have taken her life that moment because what she did could have paralyzed me for the rest of my life. Did you ever be kicked down the steps by an insane drunk? I was. And you know what the reasoning of it was? I was cheating on them. I don't cheat on people. I don't even like having sex the way traditional people do. In the gay community, I'm a bottom, not a top. Not for a genetic girl, not for a tranny. Maybe a tranny, a very good looking one. You wouldn't happen to know where I could find one. Me, Tracilyn, if I could do that for you, I would please you every day. Computer technology coming soon. We're gonna make it happen. Check this out. We're gonna make it after all. You know, we're gonna make it after all. I used to like that. Here's the thing, check this out. So I don't want to hype on this too much. But I just want to say that I don't mean to be sounding prudy, and this is not the fruits of Jesus Christ. This is Tracilyn and freedom. I'm grateful to see this place abandoned because of any other reason, because I came here with a cheerful spirit and I tried to be nice, and all I did is walk through the door with a camera wanting to share. That's free promotion only to a company that doesn't acknowledge somebody talking on a camera as a nuisance. I mean, can you see yourself having an establishment and screaming at people, you can't bring cameras in here? I used to think that with concerts. You know, when I used to play out and stuff, I tell people, take as many pictures as you want. Don't hurt me. Take as many pictures as you want. Share them with all your friends, neighbors, promote it. So when she did that, obviously, I bit my lip a little bit. Is it on the camera? I don't have time to go, where's the manager at? Where's the owner of the building? Okay, do I contact? I've learned that you can't contact these corporations with them being respectful and calling you and talking to you. Especially an apology, especially in a form of trying to make things better for you. If this would have been my establishment and I would have known, I would have contacted the person and I would have said, I'm terribly sorry that happened. I had a talk with them and I want to make things right. Whenever you have time, come down, okay? And I'd make it right. I'd treat them like what? The goddess or the god that the Lord has them as they are. Most people don't treat people heavenly. Okay? They pretty much treat them like shit. And God wanted me to know that, in my opinion. I think so. What do you think? Like manure? Look at this sidewalk. Look at how they left the place trashy. This tells you a lot about Golden Corral. Look at this. Okay? You see all the dirt? Okay? It's not hideous here, but they left a building. What are you going to use it for? Well, we don't know. The bank owns it. Is that it? I think when people pack up and leave Golden Corral, you should take your goddamn building with you. It's an eyesore to the people that live here. And maybe if somebody sees a clear lot, maybe then they could come in and build something that they want. The formations, in my opinion, are not always meant to be here for an extended amount of time. And when people build, think about it. I said to God one day, because of how I've learned that most people are, that if I ever had a gorgeous home, it's up to God. But in my opinion, all my possessions and property and stuff in my section of land, when I move on to heavenlier from the physical form, I don't want nobody to have my possessions. Why should they have my possessions? They didn't want to be in my possession and love me while I was alive. So when she said that, I remember thinking, man, I just wanted to enjoy my life and share some of my life story about a time of my life that I was wounded and stuff. And thank God I wasn't as wounded then. How about you? Don't you hate people who are assholes and ignorant and wanted to boss you around? Like, what's wrong? I'll tell you what was wrong with her. Low self-esteem, for starters. I could tell by, yes, physically looking at her, and I don't mean to be an asshole. The enemy used her immediately. So after she said that, I said, oh, I'm sorry, because that's Tracilyn, that's what I do. I'm sorry. I wanted to say, a lot of other things. One of them is, why don't you come over here and turn off my camera for me? So I can strike you. No, I'm just kidding. So anyway, the building's left here. They took their sign down. It was Golden Corral. I'll tell you about it. In my opinion, they left it kind of clean, but don't you think that I like that a lot? You go into a place, and you, who takes your relationship with God, the Bible, and you wanted to have a healthy relationship with the human race, only you learned if you aren't focused on God specifically, most likely you're not going to have a very healthy relationship with. You got to be the upper person all the time. And I'm telling you that. You might not realize it. In my life, I do. So I ended up walking out, and I walked down this sidewalk. You think they're turn this place into something different? Yeah, they ought to turn it into a rock and roll music video for me. You come in here, they ought to toss me the keys to say they're sorry, and then I can go in here and make a music video. Throw me an actress or two and we can redo that in my music video. I walk in there with the camera because I want to show people stuff in my music video. The music's playing. And then the person, oh, you can't do that here. Okay, we've seen this before. You can't be you in our presence. Look at her. I mean, Jesus Christ, she has a video camera. Who does she think she is, Madonna? Like a pre-Madonna? Maybe, with a penis. What do you think of that? And here's the thing, check this out. As I walked down through here, I came back here, and there was a movie theater back here. Check this out. So I started realizing this most likely is not the place. It never was. It sucks. I think that sometimes with the houses I used to live in throughout life, I don't know what is the answer. I feel that if somebody else came to my door and they were very friendly and I got some insight, how do you prove that the person's going to be safe to walk in on your property, to be on your property? A lot of people don't feel that way. Hey, Golden Corral, how about if we make it up? Can I piss you off? I'm going to take a photo. of love. I don't know if I can get it off yet. Hey, Golden Corral, you gonna give me a call? Do you want to call the cops on me? Do you? Make sure you send the video to a CEO of Golden Corral. Tell him I took one of the flowers that they left here. Chances are it was gonna die anyway. Okay, I'm alive. Put the flower in my hair, isn't that pretty? Why don't the CEO of Golden Corral, the bigwigs, would you leave a comment down below and tell me how nice that flower looks? I've realized that a lot of times now when I talk, it'll seem more like I'm arrogant. And a lot of that is because I've realized that what's in the world, and dominantly through the human race, is asshole. And it's very challenging to be a very loving, very kind. I've been diagnosed by a licensed psychologist. Sorry. They said I have a childlike mentality of like a 10 or 11-year-old. People don't see it. Do you know that this is reason for LCBC Church and the entire Christian community and anybody who loves God to throw a celebration? I was diagnosed with a Christhood. You're childlike, and the world's a very difficult place for you to live in. In other words, confessment coming through my psychologist. Only she was an asshole and she wouldn't give me in writing the years that I invested in paying cash by letting people suck my dick and fuck me in the ass to stay alive. She wouldn't give me in writing those words. That's how much of an asshole Kim Rosenberg is. The way that a lot of people treat me, I don't want to treat people like that, and if I was licensed anything, I would do what I could to help people. More humans than not defend themselves. She's the one who should have told me from day one when I cried to her and said I'm having a hard time, I can't take care of myself, and the cops are corrupted. They're putting money in my hand and calling me guilty. Okay, and I don't have any eyewitnesses except for God. Where's God at a time like this? Looking through our eyes, saying we have something to go with. This is going to be on national television someday. And use names. Okay? They all belong to God anyway. Nobody owns anything in this lifetime, do you know that? Because that's what a lot of this was about. We got the movie theater over here. So you have abandoned properties here now. I don't know what they're actually doing with this, so don't take my word for it, but there's nobody here. Evidently, they keep care of the grounds. There's a lot of action that I could have applied when somebody literally told me that I can't videotape in a public venue. Okay, number one, it's for my safety and it's for my psychological health. And it puts my psychological current existence at the time, in ouch mode. You're telling me what to do with my life? The camera's pointed on me. Okay, I may be showing where I'm at, but my eyes see, and they might not understand, but these eyes are like cameras. Okay, and so's their eyes. They don't know it. And God sees everything, and so do a whole lot of other people that are utilizing the humans to see through their eyes. So just because you see a camera or don't doesn't mean that there's not one looking at you. And it's intaking every moment that you're saying, can't videotape in here. Why? Who are you? What kind of asshole says that to somebody as soon as they walk through the door? Oh, you can't do that here. First it was you gotta have a t-shirt on. You can't walk in here without a t-shirt. I think they should have a national day of people just taking off their shirts and walking in public venues. You know? Why? I don't know why. Share with people they're assholes. They don't have the right to tell another human being how to live, especially if they're doing it peacefully. Okay, it's not like I intruded in here in violence. So, in long story short, I'm getting ready to show you what I found. I found it. I found it. I found it. It's no longer there. Either. I'm going to show the camera. They want to give me a call? Golden Corral. This is what I wanted to show you. Believe it or not, where's she at? Is she gonna scream at me? Hey, you can't do that! You can't show people that! Guess what? I just did, and I'm happy that it's closed down because in my opinion, that was really mean. Now don't dust it for fingerprints. Just contact Tracilyn at tracilyn21@gmail.com. Or you can go on tracilyn.com and say hello. What if I was looking at and scouting the property for possible interest? I'm on my way to show you the next place. And one thing that I'm really excited about is I was close. Have you ever been close? Obviously something like that happens. You can't really talk to people that are telling you can't do stuff. You know, you can't do stuff in common sense. You know, I just did it. I'm doing it now. Why isn't she here screaming at me to turn off the camera? I don't have time, but I realized I need an amazing licensed psychologist or psychiatrist that is willing to take notation of our conversation so that I have evidence and I can have permits to carry my camera that another person can't tell me to turn it off. Not a cop, not a judge, not the President of the United States. Tell Donald Trump to go fuck himself if he wants me to turn my camera off. Then if you want me to turn my cameras off, turn all the cameras off in the entire fucking cities around America. You're an asshole. People are assholes. There's cameras everywhere we look. But I can't use my camera? Do you know what I think? I think as the old church is going to fuck away, hallelujah, we should be singing and dancing and thanking God that they're out of here. You want to make the world a better place? Read the Bible and learn human rights. Be familiar. Get into psychology. The right to live, the right to have access to all resources so that you can put in alignment with your brain. Do you know that just picking out a guitar? Why is there price tags on it for me? Why can't I get the one I need, that I know is going to be a tool for what it is I'm doing for God? That's the God in my brain, Joyce Myers. You said I don't need money. How do I take it without being arrested? We're gonna find out when I go over here to Guitar Center. I wanna find out. I wanna ask the salesman, how do I get one of these guitars and walk out of here if I don't have the money to buy it? It's God's. God owns everything. And chances are, if we found out the corruption that was involved in getting those guitars into that store and stores around America, the places would be shut down. Shut down, especially if we're talking American man-made laws which are to smolder the humans in America. Their exact words would be, if you don't like it, move. No. There needs to be something greater than that. Okay? I like it a lot when God's given me favor, right? So this is it. I love to see a place closed down when I know I came in love and peace. I had a smile on my face and I had to exercise my thoughts to keep them smiling. Okay, thank you. I don't have time to call the cops myself, to get a lawyer, or to go to court and sue people for such petty little shit. Somewhere along the lines, people have just got to, what did our schools teach people, huh? Couth? Is anybody cool in America? Has anybody even learned a verse and held on to it called live and let live? It's in the Bible. Part of the secret is that of life. Live and let live, live and love always. How did she even know it wasn't on? And in my psychological turmoil, I was in a world of pretending. She didn't know my psychological status. I may look okay to other people in the physical, but maybe my psychological is a lot different than theirs. Do you think? You think you're a little bit psychologically different than the people you're around? Then why are you around them? Do you need them? Here's my red car. Look what's happening. You see the paint peeling? Still, it's nasty. See that? I won't get another car living where I'm living. We need parking. Can we pick this parking lot up? Could we pick the parking lot up and move it to our place? The government doesn't like to give contracts to people who can add and do math and realize that per apartment we need what? How many? Is it one? Is it two parking spaces per apartment? I mean, think about it. Someday I'm going to share that. It's freaking amazing. This is the leaders in our country granting what they call government contracts to people that could consider life a little deeper, more passionate, more considerate. Lee, I want to show you this. I'm really excited. Originally I came here because I wanted to share about the Gospel Businessman's meeting that I have on my website, where I was sharing about the tragedies in my life and throughout my life story about how I got into reading the Bible and worshiping God and where I was in my spiritual journey, so to speak. And my love for life and desires, some of them I had. I sang a few songs. I was wounded psychologically, emotionally. And I understand that that could happen very easily to some people, especially. I came here, not sure where it was. I tried reaching out to people for information. Is it that they didn't know? Is it that they didn't even want to communicate with me? The same people that I spoke to that day and had invited me there. And then I finally got to speak to one of the coolest that used to host it. And I found out some information. I didn't talk to him personally, but I chatted with him online. If it was him, I don't know. Maybe it was someone protecting. Could be. Here we go. And by the way, when I listen to my music, they keep me safe right now. I can imagine what would happen if they didn't protect us. You know, having markings on your arms is one thing. Are they really giving it their all? Because that's scary if there would ever be wartime. In other words, it'll be every man for himself. All right, here we go. I love the flower, Mr. Golden Corral. Thank you. I'll accept this as a gift of your way of saying, I'm sorry. So sorry. It's really not your fault, Mr. Golden Corral. It was really the incident. The enemy ganged up on me through her. Uh-oh, what's this now? It's popcorn. Popcorn. I was just talking about that the other day. Yesterday or the day before. Popcorn. So here we go. Check this out. Before I get started, hopefully nobody's gonna scream at me. I was standing over here. I don't know if you can see. Over there. I got in my car and I wasn't sure if I was going the right way, and I went down the road this way. Searching. And I'll share the rest of the story when I get to the parking lot. But I'm very grateful because I had a lead, and when I got the lead, I looked it up online on Google Maps, and I knew it right away. That was the place. I remembered the off-ramp, 675, the interstate, you know, because I was not used to traveling the interstates like I was when I was traveling, but not in my home state. It was more local city stuff and country roads and stuff. Here we go. I really like 675. It's a big open highway. So down here, turned left from where I was. Miami Police Station is what it looks like. It was on my right. And we're getting ready to cross what I think, but not 100% sure, 675. The bridge. At Walmart. That's right, at Walmart.com. Let me see. We're gonna keep on going down this way. I'm gonna turn this off so I can save a little bit of battery and video editing. Video editing. Ah, check this out. That's the person that I'm trying to find this place. I didn't bring my information with me. This was kind of like the spur of the moment. Is that what they call it? The spur? You know, like on a cowboy's boot spur? The spur of the moment. Did anybody ever write a song called Spur of the Moment? It sounds like a great title, doesn't it? Or we getting together, or we got together in the spur of the moment, in the spur of the moment? Is that it? In the spur of the moment? You made a quick decision to do something? And we did it in a spur of the moment. Yeah, it's huge. And it's on video, and if anybody uses that idea, I have evidence that I had it first. The place evidently turned into a Dollar Tree. And there's 2 Dollar Trees in the local area from where I was. And because I didn't have the address, I ended up going to, I think, the other one. And the reason I know is because, look, this is uphill. That's how I remember, because off the off-ramp, it was not uphill, it was flat. A big, wide road. Wide. I better turn it off. Hurry, quickly.